So let me share with you how Medicare literally destroyed my client's case. A young disabled man from birth who was very productive in society was crossing the street to go into a shopping center, and he gets hit by a car. And he winds up going into the intensive care unit because he has severe injuries. He's got a fractured femur, he's got internal bleeding, he needs surgery, he needs a tracheostomy, he needs a tube to breathe for him. And a week later, his sister calls me up and says, "Mr. Oginski, my brother just got hit by a car. I'd like you to represent us." Okay? Within a week, I found out that the driver of the car had a $100,000 insurance policy. And that's all they had. They had what we would call that a limited insurance policy, especially for the type of injuries that occurred here. Within another week, I was able to get the insurance company to offer the entire insurance policy, the $100,000. They accepted responsibility. They knew they had a problem. I said, "Great, we can wrap this up." Not so fast. The check comes in, I deposit it into escrow. The client, the injured victim, 3 weeks of being in the hospital, now goes home. A week later, he gets a bill from the hospital for $350,000. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Oginski, Medicare paid for it, and Medicaid too. And now, when I heard those words, I knew we were finished. And here's what I mean. So I now get on the phone with Medicare. I said, "Listen, we've just settled my client's case for $100,000. There's no additional coverage anywhere. This is the maximum he's getting. After my fee, my client will be left with about $65,000. What can you do to reduce your lien?" And the response was, "Nothing. Pay us everything." What do you mean, pay us everything? Then the client will be left with nothing. Then I've just done an exercise in frustration. I brought a case, was able to successfully resolve the case within a very short period of time, and now you're telling me that my client's going to walk away with zero? You're kidding me. Finally, after going on appeals and taking this up even further, I finally got them to agree to leave my client with $5,000. Wait, it gets better. So now, because my client was also receiving Medicaid, I had to deal with Medicaid now. And I said to Medicaid, my client's left with by the way, Medicare takes priority, Medicaid then comes in, and now they say, "Listen, we have a lien against the proceeds of your client's matter in excess of $5,000. We paid like $35,000. I said, "You can't take his money. He'll be left with zero." They said, "Too bad." I said, "Will you negotiate?" They said, "Sure we will. We'll take $4,000. Leave your client with $1,000. Imagine the phone call I had to have with the client and his sister. "I'm sorry to tell you, Medicare took most of your money. Medicaid took the rest of it. You'll be getting a check for about $1,000. How do you think that made me feel? Like crap. Because I told them, had I known that Medicare or Medicaid was involved in this, I never would have touched this case. The reason is because I would have known that Medicare would have incurred bills in excess of what this insurance was available to pay. And I don't take a case just for the purposes of generating an attorney's fee. The whole purpose of taking a case is to help transform my clients' lives. And we do that by obtaining money and compensation for their injuries, to try and improve their lives. So this is just one way that Medicare literally destroyed someone's life by not being able to take the proceeds of those actions. Now, on the other hand, Medicare turns around and says, "Hey, we were the ones who paid for his bills to begin with. Otherwise, he'd be personally on the hook." And that is true. But the reality, at the end of the day, he walked away with almost nothing, which was really unfortunate and a shame. So you always, always have to keep that in the back of your mind. Is Medicare or Medicaid involved?